In the Brewers Cup, judges don't just taste your coffee, they also evaluate your consistency in the preparation. And if you're preparing 3 cups and you're not pouring consistent with all 3 preparations, you're losing points before they even take the first sip of a cup. In my preparation, I realized quite early that my pouring is really not consistent. I was pouring 3 preparations at a time. I wasn't hitting the timings and I wasn't hitting the exact grams of the recipe I was using. And with that, all my testing of different recipes and brewing methods was completely useless, because if you don't hit the exact timings, then you cannot compare the cups to each other and evaluate what's different. So that's why I created a game to measure my mistakes I'm making when pouring, so I can see in the data when I get better. And today I want to show you exactly this system and how you can apply it to yourself as well. So as you might know, I come from a different field. I'm an online fitness coach and I've worked with training and nutrition for a long time. And I know that if you want to get better in something, you need a training plan, you need something to track your repetitions you're doing and how to see if you're getting better. So this is how I know if you put certain repetitions and a focus to one area and practice it daily, you will get better. For this practice, I try to reduce everything that is unnecessary and will take my focus away from the one main thing, and this is pouring. It's the human variable. How consistent am I really pouring with water? So with this little practice game, I'm just focusing on the water, the flow, the weights, and the timings. So I had the urge to develop this system where I don't just feel that I'm getting better, but I really see it in the data that I'm getting better. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at the rules that I developed for this specific pouring game. In total, in one game, you have 12 pours. You have 3 servers and 4 pours in each server. The goal is a total of 200 grams and we are pouring 50 grams each. So we are going to 50, 100, 150 and then 200. The timings for the pours is the first pour when you start the timer, the second pour at 40 seconds, the third pour at 1 minute and 10, and the fourth pour is at 1 minute and 40. This means you have 4 pours to mess up per server, and as we are having 3 preparations in parallel, we are having in total 12 pours that you could mess up. For the pouring structure, we have 10 seconds in between the different servers. So you have to make the pour in about 7 seconds and then switch to the next server to start the timer at exactly 10 seconds. When the scale before you says 10 seconds, this is exactly the point when you hit the timer on the next scale. I'm usually using 3 circular pours and then I'm finishing in the center to slowly control the flow of the kettle and to stop exactly at the 50 gram mark. If you are under or over pouring of over plus minus 1 gram, then you get 1 penalty point. So if you hit 51 grams instead of 50, then you get a penalty point. And also if you hit 49 grams or lower, then you also get a penalty point. So the perfect score for this game would be a 0, but the worst score you could get would be a 12 if you mess up really every pour. This accuracy of 1 single gram seems very irrelevant for home brewers, and it might really be, but for a competition it's really important because you want to ensure that every preparation tastes exactly the same. If you want to step up the game and make it even harder, please also look at the timings. You also want to finish and start the pours at the exact timings the recipe is telling you. So if you're off of over 1 second, you should also get 1 penalty point. I documented my process that I played 3 such games per day, so a total worst score possible of 36 and the best possible score of 0. And I started this game with hitting about a 12, if I remember correctly. But I was able to decrease my level of missed pours to 3 in 3 games. So I was hitting like really every pour with only maybe 1 missed pour in a total game. To get this good didn't even take so long. And this progress was able in about 7 days. If you play this game daily for a week, I can promise you, you can increase your accuracy by about 75%. So I just found my consistency pouring tracking sheet that I used back then in January when I started training my consistency. And before I started this game, I already started tracking just repetitions when I tried to hit the target weights. But when I started with this game, I was already quite okay. I was hitting in 3 games a score of 11, but I was able to reduce it down to a score of 3 or 4 when I was focusing just on pouring. So a score of 3 means that I only had 1 missed pour in the whole preparation. And then on 21st of January, I noted down, I started doing this preparation with talking, so with distraction. And my score increased immediately to a score of 9. And this is where I had to start over again and try to work on it while multitasking and still pouring the exact grams. So in my opinion, intentional repetitions is the only way to get better. And with this game, I was able to really improve my consistency across pouring. And this gave me the confidence in my preparation that testing different variables like temperature, filter paper I'm using, or even different pouring schedules, pouring recipes, it gave me the confidence that I can fulfill these recipes accurately and then really taste the difference and evaluate which is better and which is worse. After 1 or 2 weeks of pouring just water into these empty carafes, I hit a certain threshold where it was enough for this time in my preparation. But I will now get back to the consistency training again because my Brewers Cup is 4 weeks out and I really have to focus on hitting the timings and the grams again. And I know that these repetitions quite close to the repetitions are very important for myself so I can deliver the consistency across all 3 preparations at the competition stage. So really be aware the skill you're improving here is not permanent. It's a habit and it's a skill that you always have to work on to stay consistent. So if you stop practicing this, you might get worse again on hitting the target grams. And if you want to improve again, you have to train that specifically for a competition, for example, shortly before the competition as well. I also have to acknowledge here that this might seem quite boring, just pouring water into empty kettles and quite obsessive. But for me, it's really important to also show the invisible work that a lot of people are doing, but not showing online. Because this is where I got better in pouring. And I want to show every single step where I learned something on the journey. Maybe in the future, I will tell you that some of my learnings were wrong, but I try to just take you on the journey with me while I learn and prepare for things like the Brewers Cup or other occasions. Now, I would love to know how you train consistency, how you track it. Please put it down in the comments below. And if you try my pouring consistency game just to compare yourself maybe to my skills and how accurate I'm pouring, please put your results also down in the comments below. I would love to see how you're doing with this consistency pouring game. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This helps my channel grow and more people see my videos. So please subscribe and see you guys in the next videos. Bye.